At 65, your retirement budget can look almost perfect on paper. The mortgage is gone. The commute has disappeared. You are no longer buying work clothes, paying payroll taxes, or putting 15% of every paycheck into a 401k. Then one ordinary month arrives, and you realize something uncomfortable. Retirement did not simply make your budget smaller. It moved the expensive parts into places you were not watching. A paid-off house still needs a roof. A Medicare card does not pay every medical bill. And money that looks available in an IRA can create taxes and higher premiums when you take it out. Today, we are counting down 5 expenses that quietly get more expensive after age 65, why they catch careful retirees by surprise, and how to make room for them before they become emergencies. I'm Helen, and this is Quiet Wealth After 50. Let's begin with the expense most people think they have already solved. Number 5 is the home you thought was paid for. A paid-off home is one of the strongest advantages you can bring into retirement. Removing the mortgage can free up hundreds or even thousands of dollars every month. But paid off does not mean free. Property taxes continue. Homeowners insurance continues. Heating, cooling, plumbing, roofing, appliances, and exterior repairs continue. In many communities, insurance and property taxes can rise, even while your mortgage balance remains exactly zero. There is another cost that does not appear on most retirement calculators: making the house work for an older version of you. At 55, carrying laundry up the stairs may be annoying. At 75, it may be unsafe. A slippery bathroom, poor lighting, a high step, or a yard that once felt relaxing can become a reason to hire help or remodel. The changes may be small: brighter lights, a grab bar, a safer entrance, or regular yard service. Or they may be larger: a first-floor bathroom, a stair lift, a move to a smaller home, or professional help with cleaning and maintenance. The mistake is not staying in your house. The mistake is budgeting only for taxes and insurance while pretending the roof, the furnace, and your knees have all signed a 30-year peace treaty. Give housing 2 separate lines in your plan: routine carrying costs and a reserve for repairs, accessibility, and outside help. For a home worth $400,000, even a 1% annual maintenance reserve would be $4,000. Some years you will spend almost nothing. Other years, the roof will make the decision for you. Number 4 is leisure and convenience. Retirement gives you something work rarely provides in large quantities: unclaimed hours. Those hours can be wonderful. They can also be expensive to fill. The first years of retirement are often the active years. You travel more, visit family, eat out, join a club, start a hobby, or finally tackle the projects that have been waiting for decades. None of that is irresponsible. This is part of what you saved for. The problem is assuming that every retirement year will cost the same. Spending often arrives in stages. Early retirement may bring more travel and entertainment. Later, travel may decline, while convenience spending rises. Grocery delivery, prepared meals, ride services, housekeeping, lawn care, and paying someone else to do jobs you once handled yourself. Imagine a couple who budgets $600 a month for leisure. Then they add 2 family trips, a club membership, restaurant meals, and a hobby that needs its own storage room. Nothing feels extravagant by itself, but the monthly total quietly becomes $1,200. The answer is not to remove pleasure. Give your retirement an active year's budget, a slower year's budget, and a ceiling for convenience spending. A good retirement contains fun. It just should not require financial amnesia. Number 3 is the tax cost of retirement cash flow. While you are working, taxes are visible. Money is withheld from your paycheck before it reaches your bank account. In retirement, different dollars receive different treatment. so the bill can become much harder to see. Qualified Roth withdrawals may be tax-free. Traditional IRA and 401k withdrawals are generally taxable. Pension income may be taxable. And depending on your total income, part of your Social Security benefits may also be taxable. So when a retiree says, "I need $5,000 a month," that may not mean $5,000 of withdrawals. It may mean withdrawing more, because taxes have to come out somewhere. Here is a simple illustration. Suppose a couple needs an extra $30,000 this year. If all of it comes from a traditional retirement account, that withdrawal generally adds to taxable income. It can also affect how much of their Social Security becomes taxable. There is a second layer many people miss. Required minimum distributions, or RMDs, eventually force money out of traditional retirement accounts. The starting age depends on your birth year, but for many retirees, it is now 73, with a later age applying to some younger birth years. If a traditional IRA has grown to $1 million, the first required withdrawal can be large enough to change your tax picture. That extra income may push you into a higher bracket, make more Social Security taxable, and increase Medicare premiums through IRMA 2 years later. That is a 3-part domino: income tax, Social Security tax, and Medicare surcharge. The exact result depends on filing status, state law, account basis, and the tax rules in effect that year. But the principle is simple. An account balance is not the same as spendable money. This is why tax planning belongs inside your retirement budget. The years after work ends, but before RMDs begin, can be a valuable planning window. Some households use partial Roth conversions during that period, but the right amount must be calculated carefully. A tax professional can help you avoid creating a new problem while solving an old one. Number 2 is routine health care that Medicare does not make disappear. Turning 65 changes how many Americans pay for health care. It does not turn health care into a free public buffet. You may still pay the Part B premium, prescription coverage, a Medicare Advantage premium, or a Medigap premium, depending on your choices. Covered services can involve deductibles and coinsurance. And if your income rises high enough, IRMA can add a surcharge based on income from 2 years earlier. Then there are the gaps. Original Medicare generally does not cover most routine dental care, prescription eyeglasses, hearing aids, or custodial long-term care. Medicare Advantage plans may offer extra benefits, but those benefits can have networks, limits, and annual maximums. This is where averages become dangerous. One retiree may have routine appointments and modest prescriptions. Another may need a crown, new glasses, hearing aids, specialist visits, and expensive medication in the same year. Healthcare needs at least 2 lines in your retirement plan. The first is predictable: premiums, prescriptions, and routine appointments. The second is irregular: dental work, hearing, vision, deductibles, and a medical reserve. If your spreadsheet contains one small line called medical, it may be tidy. It may also be fiction. And number 1 is the expense that can change every other category on this list: paying to preserve your independence. This is different from ordinary health care. It is the cost of getting through daily life when you can no longer do everything safely or comfortably by yourself. It might begin with transportation to appointments, house cleaning, yard work, meal preparation, help with insurance forms, or someone checking in once a week. At first, family and friends may provide the help for free, but as needs increase, paid support may become necessary. Long-term care is the larger version of the same issue. Original Medicare generally does not pay for custodial care simply because someone needs help with activities of daily living. Families may end up combining savings, insurance, home equity, Medicaid eligibility, and unpaid family care to create a solution. This expense is easy to ignore at 65 because you may be healthy and completely independent. But that is exactly when planning is most useful. Waiting until after a fall, a diagnosis, or a burned-out caregiver turns a financial decision into an emergency. You do not need to predict the exact care you will need at 82. Nobody can. You do need to decide where flexibility could come from. Would you downsize? Reserve part of your home equity? Move closer to family? Consider long-term care coverage? Set aside a dedicated care reserve? Learn which services exist in your community. There is no universal answer, but pretending the question does not exist is also an answer, and it is rarely the cheapest one. So how do you protect your retirement plan from all 5 expenses? Use 3 budget layers. Layer 1 is predictable essentials: housing, food, insurance, taxes, and routine health care. Layer 2 is flexible lifestyle spending: travel, restaurants, hobbies, gifts, and convenience. Layer 3 is irregular independent spending: major repairs, accessibility changes, dental and hearing costs, transportation help, and future care. Your portfolio does not need to predict every bill. It needs enough flexibility that one expensive year does not force you to sell investments at the wrong time or make a major decision under pressure. The real lesson is not that retirement becomes endlessly more expensive after 65. Many costs do fall. The lesson is that the costs that remain become more personal, more uneven, and harder to ignore. Quiet wealth is not a budget in which nothing ever goes wrong. It is a life with enough room to adapt when the shape of your expenses changes. Which of these 5 expenses concerns you most? Housing, leisure, taxes, healthcare, or future help at home? Tell me in the comments. And if you want calm, practical retirement breakdowns, subscribe to Quiet Wealth After 50. This video is for education, not individualized financial, tax, or medical advice. Rules and costs can change, so check your own situation with qualified professionals.